starting this cauldron that's going to be some kind of a magic deadly potion mixed by an wiper motor animated witch. So now I'm on my first step, which is setting up what's going to be the fire underneath the foam. I've seen YouTubers using this for that purpose, and because it's yellow color, it might help a little bit with the look of the fire. And it should be fine because it's laying flat. Once you start, you can't stop. You just have a few minutes of working time before you can apply the different stuff around the fire. So let's see how. Just want to show you my wood, or whatever you call the fire. That's going to be twinkling. Is that how you say it? Excuse my French. Like the lights, actually I used the base of this, like extra packing material, bubble wrap that I had from all my Amazon shipping orders to get ready for Halloween. So there's a perfect hole inside because I built it around this flower pot that I got. It was on sale because it's the end of the season after the summer. And you have to wrap this up in plastic because when you put the foam, you don't want the foam to be sticking on your flower pot. I'm going to be using a piece of acrylic on top as my surface. And as you can see, this is the piece of acrylic that I found on Amazon. I think it's 15 inches. I just measured it so I could have a space in between. I didn't want it to be exactly perfect. And as you can see, this is a very big motor from Amazon.ca. The brand of it is Cauldron wiper motor, and I put it on a wood base like this. And the purpose for that is because this is not a perfect centralized, it's not perfectly centered, I should say. So I'll need to have a certain flexibility once this is attached firmly to my acrylic base to be able to move it, because it may touch on the side as it turns. So just give ourselves that little opportunity for adjustments at the very last minute. So as you can see, to make sure that it's really even and leveled, I put this piece of wood there on top of the base, and I've attached it this way. For me, that metal bracket that you find at the plumbing department of your local hardware store is really, really useful, and it secures it very, very tightly. And what I did was just hot glue this cover of my foam that I used. So I saved the foam because it's on this cover that the witch's stick will be resting on when it turns. So that's the body of my witch, and I will put the link of the really amazing video of a young kid that provided the plans for this, and it'll be in the description below. And I've made some minor modifications, but I really followed it pretty much entirely. What I did different is because I found this really nice head of a witch, and it's a bit heavy, and those reindeer mortars, it just wasn't working at all. So what I did was I bought this motor from Fright Props, and this like worry-free. This is the frame, and this PVC here is smaller. It's 3/4 inch, and this is a 1/2 inch. And by the way, my take on this, it's because I love to screw all of my joints for the only reason that sometimes, like this here, you play around with the inclinaison, the incline of it. Well, if you put PVC glue, you're done. It's finished. But by using screws that are self-drilling screws, I think they're about 1/2 inch, it's the best thing. You can just remove them and disassemble and readjust. And you see here, oh, by the way, this is because why did I use 1/2 inch here? It's because I ran out of the 3/4 and I didn't want to stop the momentum of building. And I used the 1/2 inch PVC pieces that I had left. So with PVC glue, forget about it. But the beauty is with those screws, no problem. And if I decide to change it back to the 3/4, I could just do it, unscrew it. And let's just say that by making holes, the PVC pipe doesn't lose its integrity, as you can see from all the different trial and error situations that I did when installing a smaller motor, and it just couldn't be strong enough to push back and forth this head. I have my wiper motor here that I've connected that PVC pipe, and I bought this acrylic circle from Amazon. I was surprised to find, if you just type in acrylic circle, and I got a 15 inch, I think, just to fit properly. And yeah, I made it very simple with this setup. I don't even know if it's really gonna work, but because it's a little off center when it turns. So I painted the bottom of it with this paint. Oh, by the way, I have a little help from my friend here to get me through the stress of so many projects to do when there's 1 month left before Halloween. So that's what I use for this. And you say, oh my goodness, this is gonna look absolutely awful. Well, no, it won't, because I'll be putting some bubbles, and those are the bubbles that I've painted underneath, again, to leave it that shiny look. So if you search on Amazon for plastic Christmas balls, and it comes in a set where you have various sizes. So these bubbles are going to fit on this like that. You could hide it, right? It's a little too center, you're gonna say? Well, that's why I got these little guys. And that's gonna be part of my soup that I'm gonna put on top. And so there you go, that's what it's like. And look what I did. I've put those LEDs, I think they're about $15 each on Amazon. And it's obviously the white color. I thought I ordered the warm white color, but I think I got just a bright white. So, how did I attach them on the side? I didn't want to leave it on the bottom because my wiper motor, I'm gonna need a little room and adjustment to make it rest there because it's a little off center, so I'm gonna have to play around. And what I did was I tie wrapped, as you can see here, I did some tie wrap in 4 sections of these LED lights, and I've attached them to the side with hot glue. So what I need to do is undo these things, re-glue them, and re-glue them lower to make sure it doesn't get hit by this guy that's going to be holding the stick of the witch. Welcome to do-it-yourself Halloween props. But I'm happy with the effect that it does. And let's put my little bubble on top. Yeah, I'm gonna have to hide a little bit more because obviously the thing that I use to hold the platter is a bit, I'm probably going to use a skull right in the middle of it. Well, no, I didn't. I had to change the process. As you can see, I used a nut with a big washer in the middle to hold it together. So that's how it looks like when it's lit up. And you will soon see it in action. But until then, I just wanted to show you that I added the foam with regular insulating foam and painted it with fluorescent paint. Sometimes crap happens, right? I accidentally pulled out the wire from the light set. So here I am scavenging all the pieces that I had put in and had to redo a brand new fire with a brand new set of lights. So, you know, it is what it is, and you keep on going. Jumping in time, 2 years later, August 2023, where I'm making sure all my props work well before moving on to my new big projects for this year. So as you can see, the Cauldron Witch has a new dress. She also has a new stick, because as you can see, it's a threaded metal stick that comes out of the cauldron, because it's the easiest way for the stick to not get tangled into the soup, as you will see it going. And I've put all of my controllers into a longer wire into that box, waterproof box. And yeah, this is the new and improved coal or fire. And there's a lot to do in preparation to make sure that it works well, because it's been used by the elements. I need to repaint it, paint parts of it anyways. So the fire actually pops out of the cauldron, so those two pieces are detached. So that's why when you put the insulating foam around it, you make sure you put like a garbage bag between the cauldron and the insulating foam that you're going to be putting, because you don't want the foam to stick on the cauldron, so you could have that flexibility. And what I did was I ran the wires from underneath the pot underneath to the controller, and the box of controller, actually I hide it under the dress. So this is everything you can find in your garage for packing the underneath the foam, so you could lose as little foam as possible. And you rest the wires, as I showed before, on those the packing material, and then you spray foam, and then you put your things, and then you paint it afterwards. You paint in black, and then you highlight with some gray colors after that, and it's all painted with regular acrylic paint. And even though it's dark, don't worry, the lights actually shine through. Yeah, the top of the cauldron, you put all sorts of eyes pieces. I had pieces of foam in there, and the lights shine right through. And you see the threaded metal stick that you can find in your hardware store. You cut it to the length that you need according to the stick that you use. I had to stabilize that threaded metal thing with an additional PVC pipe. As you can see, the pipe is there with a bracket to make sure that it stabilizes and it stays straight. Now you see me put together those two parts, and I pull them out for easy storage, obviously. And let me show you inside, where the metal silver bracket is tight, very, very tight with the two bolts. But the swivel happens with the golden bracket, which provides it a relatively natural movement. So this is where it's tight, and the other end is where it's loose, again, to enable that movement. And since it's a heavy head, I need that wiper motor. It's a strong 12 volt wiper motor that does 360 turn. It looks a little weird underneath, but it's okay because I'm a strong advocate of working with what you have. Duct tape, metal wiring, and padding in order to give her some volume and make sure that the mechanism doesn't get caught in the dress. Just work with what you have in your garage. I'm sure you can find all the stuff you need before you go out and buy more stuff. This is a witch in action, brewing her soup. On the hot coals. So you see the stick is actually not attached to anything. It's just sliding on the metal post, and the metal post is attached to the bracket of the wiper motor. But it's very important that this stick moves freely. So let me show you the connections. So for easy storage, this is the power off for the Cauldron, because the Cauldron is always a separate part for storage. And this is the speed controller of the Cauldron. So if I increase it, it goes fast, and if I decrease it, it slows down. So this is about a $15 speed controller. And as you can see, they're identified, Chaudron in French, and head in English. So that's a speed controller for the speed of the head. So the two power supplies, one for the head, one for the Cauldron. It's 5 amp power, 12 volt power supply connected into this controller, and then the controller goes right to the head, or it goes right to the Cauldron. And if anything happens, I took the time to have little connections if I need to work on that, or if I need to change this for some reason. If it breaks down, then I can just replace this and connect it easily through the rest of the prop. So this stays secure into this weatherproof Tupperware box. And you put the cover on, and you put it under the dress. Voila, disappeared. As an added bonus, if you want, you can always connect a small smoke machine inside of the Cauldron so that the smoke comes out. Could be a good effect. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and happy hunting for 2023 and beyond.